Hello, how are you? Um, Let me see. Carol, good morning. Donna, hi Donna. Um, Setting my clock, turning on another light. Okay. Shannon, did I say hello? Sharon, did I say hello? Stevie, hello. All right. So I wasn't here last week. Not sure if that was known. I know that I did tell some people and they shared that information. And there's videos that'll play. Like I don't know how many videos I have recorded, but let's say 18 months, like so many. I mean, there's so many videos that are recorded, and we do have links to certain classes. So it's very that I'm not here. I'm always here, always, always, always. I have such great attendance, but last week I was gone. So hopefully you still practiced yoga and physical asana yoga. You found something to watch. That's my hope anyway. And yeah, so for those that are here, I think that you knew that I was gone. I didn't know I was going, but I was gone. Turn on my light, turn up my volume. All right. So anything going on this week with any of you that you'd like to share with me or ask? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I definitely have some things I would like to focus on. And so if there is nothing in particular that you guys would like to say to me, then I will do what I've planned, which is really a lot of balance and posture. I'm going to be hosting a talk on Clubhouse soon about fall prevention. So that's very in the forefront of my mind, and I want to do a lot of balance today. And some of the balance stuff will be fun and funny, because I think whenever we get that wobbly aspect, sometimes it could be fun, and then sometimes it could be challenging, and sometimes it could be confrontational, because it'll, depending on what we're doing. So anyway, just be open to have fun today and to dance. So today we're going to dance in our joints. That's going to be part of the focus. All right. So let's begin. I'm going to go back there, back to my post. All right. Today's practice focuses on balance and posture, two very important aspects of osteoporosis or osteopenia or bone health, because when we're not in proper alignment, we are actually losing bone density. And because our minerals are needed to make more surface area around the body. So that's one way to contribute to bone density loss. And so that's like the malalignment part of it. And then balance is really important, because if you slip, trip, or fall, it's not even just falling, it's moving beyond the range of motion that's available in your joints. And that has to do with tightness and dehydration. And so we are going to do some stuff here to make us as limber and with as much ability to dance in our joints and in our body as possible. So for the beginning of the practice, I'd like to do a supported chest expansion. And there's a lot of contractions out there that are for posture. And I love using props that we have in yoga, because the real focus is to minimize this in the spine. And over time, this in the spine will harden. So that's why whenever you can, every day, if you could do something to bring more back bending into your body, we're going to begin with a support of that. And then when we are lying down, we have the opportunity to hydrate and bathe this spine with the fluids that have been squished out from standing and sitting. So I do have an egg-shaped block. I know that many do not have this. So I just wanted to show you this, because I'm going to use this today and I love it. It's going to go right here behind the heart on the back, so that the top part of my spine will not be on this. It's mostly really putting that force by the heart. And you could use a egg block if you had one. You could also use a rectangle block, and that could be right here. This is, oh, I have black on, so you're not going to see it as well. But right behind the heart, it's not any higher. It's right behind the heart with the shoulder blades. And that can also be a way to get this nice big chest opener and start correcting some of the aspects of posture, the tightness in the muscles and ligaments and tendons in the body. So get a block, get a egg block or a regular block. If not, you could use a blanket and put a blanket right there behind your heart. For today's practice, you will need at least one blanket, and if you need to use a blanket for your chest expansion, you may need 2 blankets. So go ahead and gather that, and then we're going to need a strap for later. And we will be using a chair today, so hopefully you have a chair handy, and if not, go ahead and grab that now. So I'm going to use the egg, but the intention is to put something behind your spine here that actually facilitates that extension position. And this is really narrow, so it'll be right on the spine. You could use the wider prop. So go ahead and get whatever you have available to you. And if this is not appropriate for you, you could put your back flat on the ground. So do what you need to do. Find what you need and take your time getting there. No rush. I should be a spokesperson for the 3-minute egg. It's called the 3-minute egg, THREE, minute egg, because I really do love them. Now, I definitely have my head a little low, and I have a pretty strong back, supported back bend here. This is okay for me. You need to see if it's okay for you. And in my experience, there are some people that this is too intense for. And if you have any rotator cuff issues in your shoulder, it's better not to do anything too crazy where the shoulder joint has to be stretched a lot, especially if you have tears, and it's better to go slow and steady with that. It's also a good idea to keep your knees bent because we are manipulating the spine a lot with this position, and you don't want to aggravate the low back. The low back seems to be the helper for the rest of the spine. And then the other thing here is wherever your head is, the lower the head is, the more intense the stretch. So you may need to actually fold your blanket that's underneath your head or put a block or something there. When I teach this in groups in person, I actually have people put a block behind their head so that it's not such a big opener in that shoulder joint area. So choose what's appropriate for you. If you have a headache or glaucoma, I wouldn't do anything with my head below my heart. So choose accordingly. And once you get to where you're going to, let's begin to go inside. Let's begin to shift from human doing to human being. Start to feel the release of muscles that contract to hold you up and support you. As you start to release and let go and soften and yield your body weight to the ground and to the props. And then have your feet be a little wider than your body. Let your knees fall in towards each other, support each other, and get a little more space in the low back. So we're going to work towards relaxing the muscles inside so that this deep stretch can really take hold in your body. Let your back teeth be separated. Lips are touching. You're breathing in and out through your nose. Bring your breath to your chest, to your torso. And feel with each inhale a deepening of the stretch. Let's begin to, on the inhale, bring in the word relaxation. Bring that word into your body and direct it to where you feel tension or tightness. This could be physical tension or tightness, or if you're having some heavy emotions, let it go to your heavy emotion or to your feelings. Wherever it is, bring that word relaxation into your mind, into your body, and into your soul. And let it start softening and chiseling away at tension. Now, you're going to inhale the word relaxation and exhale the word tension. Allowing the word relaxation to come in, to soften, to dislodge any tension in your mind, in your body, and in your soul. And as you exhale, let it leave you, the tension. If you want to go a little deeper in the stretch in the arms and the shoulder area, you could lift your arms up a little or move into a position with your eyes closed and feel your way into a deeper stretch. Deeply inhaling relaxation, deeply exhaling tension. Finish the breath you're on. Take 5 more breaths like this, staying with these words, staying with the intention during the breath of releasing, relaxing, and letting go. Finishing up your last breath. And then letting go of the breath, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Go ahead and move in whatever way feels appropriate for your body, as if you woke up from a deep sleep and your body was going into a natural stretching position. Reach your arms wherever they'd like to go. If you'd like to straighten your legs, go ahead and do that. And just come into whatever feels good for you, stretching. This supported back bend, whatever it is for you, is a great way to get into the really deep areas of your deep spine, the center of your body, starting to soften and stretch your body. We're going to come to a side lane position. So bend your knees, roll to the side. Take a break here. Let your body settle. Move your prop off to the side. So after a back bend, it's nice to do a little twist to release that tension. So bring yourself back onto your back with a blanket behind your head, and then draw your knees into your chest. Let's take one leg long, take the other leg on top, so the foot goes on top of the thigh. Take your arms alongside your body so that you lock your chest and rib cage on the ground, and then allow your knee to move over towards the side. So you're not going all the way to the floor. The goal is not to get to the floor unless, of course, you have enough range of motion in your body to do that. Just allow your knee to fall over towards the side. You have your foot on top of your leg, and you're coming into a twist. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Nice gentle twist. And bring yourself back to center. Straighten that leg. Take the other foot on top of the opposite thigh. And then allow your body to rotate towards the other side. Keep your shoulder blades on the ground. Keep your arms on the ground. And only allow your body to rotate a gentle twist. Let's do a gentle twist. Little pressure here on the lower lumbar spine, a stretch of the muscles of rotation, core muscles. Maybe you even experience this underneath your armpit or chest, on the side of your body, up near the top where the arm touches. Whatever you feel, just experience whatever it is. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's go ahead and bring yourself back to center. Let's do a bridge flow. Take your block, put your block between your knees. Take your blanket away from the back of your head. And I want you to walk your feet. I want them to be in a neutral position. So unbend your knees like this so your feet go down. Now we're going to do a bridge flow. We're going to undulate the spine. When you lift up, we're going to be lifting the arm and turning the head as well. So when you lift up, only let your body come off the floor up until about the heart, so that you make sure you don't have any extra weight in your head and neck area, which is why I want your feet where they are and not closer to your body. So let your feet go where they go naturally. The block is between your thighs. Take your hands down alongside your body. Press your head into the floor. Lift your chest away from the floor and slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Take a big exhale. As you exhale, squeeze the block. Let the low back flatten into the ground. And then let's do this with breath. So I'm not sure where I got you to with that. So you're going to squeeze the block, squeeze your tushy, and flatten the low back on the ground. So I want you to start from so that you peel and undulate your spine up until about the heart. Take an exhale. Inhale, let's lift
the tushy off the floor, lift the left arm up, rotate the head to the right, and then exhale slowly to lower. Try to put each spine bone back down the ground and then roll towards your tailbone. Inhale, flatten the back, peel the spine off, lift the pelvis, right arm and head goes to the left. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more each side. Try to fully undulate your spine, warming up the spine, warming up the neck, the upper spine, and the shoulder. And then bring yourself back to center. Pick your head up, tuck your chin towards your chest, lengthen your head, walk your feet closer to your body. We're going to come into our bridge pose. Keep your feet block distance, squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy. Flatten the low back into the floor, and then let's push away and start peeling your spine up and away. Keep your head where it is. Don't look side to side here. You could slide the shoulder blades closer towards each other. If you're not able to lift very high off the floor, you could bend your elbows here. Let your palms face each other. Your fingertips are pointing up towards the sky. For those of you that can clasp, you clasp your hands. You don't want to be resting your rib cage on your arms. So if your rib cage is resting on your arms, go ahead and straighten your arms or bend your elbows and push the upper arm into the ground. Only clasp if you could really make clearance. Push your shoulder blades into your spine. Push your heart up towards your nose. Come into a strong back bend here. Pushing away from the ground with your arms and your feet and letting your shoulder blades really deeply back bend your spine. Strengthening the muscles of posture, alignment, and balance. Take one more breath. And then slowly come down by placing the spine one vertebra at a time onto the ground. Lift your heels up, flatten your low back into the floor. Bring your blanket back underneath your head. Take the block out to the side and draw the knees into your chest. And then rock all the way onto your right side. Take your hand on the floor. Push away strongly. Use the pushing muscles to push away to bring yourself up to a seated position. And we're going to take our blankets, put your blanket on the ground. Let's come into a little bit more warm up for the rotational muscles. So have your knees be a little bit wider than hip distance. Have your hands be directly underneath your shoulders. And then take one hand so the palm faces up towards your face. Inhale, open. Exhale, bring that back. You don't have to go too far here. We're warming up the trunk muscles of rotation, and that will strengthen posture and the back and the core. Come here and stay here, open. If the low back is bothering you at all, you can take the back of your hand, or let's all do this anyway. Take your hand, the back of the hand goes on the tailbone. Push into your low back and push your tailbone away from you. Push your belly up towards your spine, and then open your chest even more in the direction you're pointing in. Take one more breath. And then let's go ahead, come out of that. Take the other hand. Let's inhale to open, exhale back. Feel the stretch in your torso.
Push your fingertips of your hand that you're resting on into the ground so that you evenly distribute the weight and don't just dump all of it into your forearm and wrist. On your next one, you're going to come open, stay open. And then let's take back of the hand onto the sacrum, push the belly button up towards the spine. Rotate a little deeper in this direction. And then go ahead, bring yourself out, bring yourself up. Sit on your heels if you can, if your knees will let you. Shake your wrists. So I want to definitely spend some time warming up our body for a lot of the postural strengthening, because the more open you are, then you'll be holding yourself in the correct position to strengthen the muscles of posture and alignment. So we're going to do this little flow. I want to show it to you first. This is puppy dog, and if you see my spine is straight. That's what we want when we have osteoporosis. We don't want to round the spine. I want you to stretch your spine so that we stretch the muscles of the spine, stretch the discs, and move around any minerals that are hanging out in the joint so they go back into the system to be delivered to the bones. So this is called puppy dog. Arms are straight, forehead is on the floor or close to the floor. This is your exhale. Knees are bent and hips are really bent. This is the exhale. On the inhale, you come forward into your cow pose or extension, a strong sway back, pulling the pelvis away from the lower ribs, stretching the belly. The exhale, you come back into puppy. The inhale, you come forward into cow. Exhale back into puppy. Spread your fingers. Feel the hands helping to lengthen the spine when you do this. When you come forward, feel that really strong stretch in the low back area, belly area. One more. Stay back here in puppy. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. All right, let's take our blanket, fold your blanket. One of the postures that was added to Dr. Fishman's second series is called Dandasana staff pose, and it's a pose of posture. So you're going to, it's staff pose it's called, but it's a pose to really strengthen the postural muscles. So you want to fold your blanket. For me, double fold is okay. If you're pretty tight, then maybe having a higher fold may be better for you. And the real key here is that you come to the front of the blanket, because this feeling of falling forward actually helps to position the pelvis and then the spine and the torso, because the sacrum and the coccyx are embedded in the pelvis. So when we have the pelvis in a nice place, it helps everything else. Reach under and grab a hunk of flesh so you expose your sits bones. And then let your legs come straight off of your body. Let your spine grow right out of this pelvis, and your head is on top of your spine. So you could put your hands down here alongside your body, or you can come up into a scarecrow version of this, making sure that your hands stay right alongside your body. That's what's key here. Notice if they're forward, notice if the arms are forward. Keep pushing the hands back. The shoulder blades will help to support the upper torso here. This is like strengthening your hanger. Nice and tall, push your legs into the ground, active feet, spread your toes if you are able to spread your toes. Press your legs into the ground strongly and feel that support as you do this. Push the hands back, push the arms back. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. We're going to come into a twist, because the twisting action strengthens the core, which is part of the support. It also strengthens the upper back muscles, and that's a big part of posture and alignment. So let's take the block behind you towards the left, near the left side of your body and center. Keep the right leg straight and then bend the left leg. Bending the left leg. If you need to move, if you've got some extra stored energy in your belly, reach down and take your stored energy to the left so you can get the top of your left thigh to press against your low belly. And then press your leg into the ground, press your foot into the ground, sit nice and tall here. And take your right hand to hold your left leg. Take your left hand behind you. And when you do this, get nice and tall. Let's take an inhale and an exhale. And as you inhale, rotate the lower ribs, the middle ribs, and the upper ribs to the left. The hand is there to push away from the floor to deepen the rotation. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Be as tall as you can be here in your spine and let your head go. Now stay here in the twist. Let's just see something. Stay in the twist, but only let your head go towards the right. And notice how the torso still stays rotated. So the twist is coming from where the low back and the middle back meet, thoracolumbar joint. And this is where there are a lot of fractures, the vertebral fractures. So we're pulling on the area of our spine where most fractures happen in osteoporosis so that we can pull on the bones and create bone building stimulation in the area that we need the most. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself out. Push the block over towards the right. Straighten the left leg. Bend the right. Hold on to your right leg so you can lengthen your spine here. And then take your left hand on your right leg. If you need to move any belly stuff, reach down and move that stored energy off to the right. It makes a difference. If you have stuff there that gets in the way, it does make a difference. And then take your hand on the floor behind you. Press your legs into the floor. Inhale and exhale. And then let's inhale, low ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Deep rotation in the spine. Lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Always pushing away from the ground and using the hand on the knee to get a nice deep rotational force that's appropriate for you and your body. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly unwind. Take your legs straight. Shake, shake, shake. Let's come up off of that. We're going to come into our plank pose to strengthen the core. Very important to have a strong core for balance, posture, alignment, bone health. So if you need to do the modification, if the wrists are bothering you and you want to come onto a dolphin plank, you could do a forearm plank. I'm going to do the full plank on hands and feet. And I'm going to time us for a minute. I'll tell you at the 30-second mark if you'd like to come down at the 30-second mark. And I'm going to add a little bit of challenge to today's plank. So for those of you that are up for a little challenge, and for those of you that are not, that's okay. Hands are spread, pointer fingers are pointing forward. Let's take one foot back, stretch the calf there, and do the same thing with the other side. Because when you come up into plank, you want to push back so you evenly distribute your weight. Let's go ahead, flip the toes under, bring the opposite leg up, and come into whatever version of plank you're doing. Press your fingertips into the ground. Ground your energy. Push your heels back. Notice that there is a play here with the body weight, so really push back. And then be long from your heels all the way up to where the legs attach to the body. Point the tailbone down towards the heels. Push the belly up towards the spine. Lengthen your spine. It's 30 seconds for those of you that would like to come down. And then for the rest of you, if you'd like to lift one leg off and come into a three-legged plank, you could for a couple of breaths. And then the other side.
Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down.
It feels really good actually to feel the power. These are hard for me. I mean, that whole minute's definitely a challenge. So this is us going against the grain of muscular loss and bone density loss by challenging ourselves. And it's only a minute. Not too much to ask, right? Okay. So we're going to come up to standing. We're going to do some work on the chair. I'd like you to make sure that you have your block and your strap handy because we will use those when we're on the chair. And part of fall prevention is making sure that you set yourself up for success, that you don't have anything laying around, and that you set yourself up. So I know that I'm going to be bending down to get these props once I come onto the chair when I'm standing. So I just want to have it all nice and ready for myself. All right, so let's take a leg forward. Ooh, and do it nicely. Don't just swing it like I just did. So do it with muscles. And then take your hand on the leg in front, flip the toes under, and push yourself forward and up. So I'd like to use a chair. Go ahead and get a chair. And move your blanket when you bend down, bend your hips and your knees. Let's take the chair onto the mat. Now, for those of you that are 5'7" or 8 or taller, having a blanket on your chair will be a little bit better for you. For those of you that are 5'3" or shorter, having a blanket on the floor may be a little bit more comfortable for you. Let's come to sit down on the chair. Have your block and your strap nearby. And then when you come to the chair, I want you to push your tushy and your pelvis back the most. So quite often we come in the chair and we lean back and slouch and let the top part of the chair support the upper body. I'm asking you to actually push your lower body back so the pelvis is back, and this will help with that arrangement, a better alignment, arrangement of your spine and head and neck and everything. So go ahead and put yourself back and then take a big stretch here. It may be with open arms. It may be with elbows be bent and the hands are behind the head to support the weight of the head. So whatever feels good for you, just explore this and getting the chair to push into the spine to help with this back bend. Because back bending is what we need more of in our lives, whether we have osteoporosis, osteopenia, or not. We do so much forward flexion in our live the way we live. All right, push yourself forward, and you want your feet and ankles underneath your knees. So you could walk them forward or walk them wider, whatever you need to do, but don't have your feet too close to the chair because I don't want such a deep bend in the knee joint here. And then go back and forth, a little rocking back and forth to feel the foundation of the sits bones. I like to do posture work when I'm seated because my pelvis is stabilized and it's easier to get to the upper torso area. All right, so let's take the shoulders forward, up, back, and down, forward, up, back, and down, forward, up, back, and down. And then take your arms, and let's bend the arms like this. So the arms are like this. Try to make a nice L shape. Exhale. Inhale to open. Exhale to bring it back. Now try to go slow here. Let the shoulder blades glide towards the center, and the muscles that mobilize the shoulders, let them pull the shoulder blades towards each other, stimulating the shoulders. And then you're going to also feel your shoulders here, shoulder muscles. Come into an open position For those that have rotator cuff or shoulder issues, you may need to be a little bit lower with your arms. So wherever you need to be, for those that can raise the upper arm bone to come straight off the shoulders, try that. Make sure you don't have shoulder earrings. So lower your whole shoulder girdle and let it be the arm bone that rises up. And then with the hands, you're pushing the hands to the side of your body. Notice if your arms are forward. Notice if your hands are forward. Constantly pushing back and trying to stack your joints, wrists on top of elbows. Push your hands back. Feel the heat wherever the heat is generating. These are the muscles of the back of the body that become detoned because they're constantly stretched when we're bending forward to be on the computer, on the phone, whatever it is we're doing in life, we do all day long. So constantly strengthening the part of you that holds you upright. Push your hands back, push your arms back. Take one more breath. Stay here. Now we're going to do a little bit of movement. Let's inhale and then exhale. Let your elbows come towards your waist. Inhale, making a shape of a W, and try to go all the way to the letter Y if you can. Exhale. Inhale. Try to keep your arms right alongside your body. Feel your shoulder blades gliding up and down the back of your body. When your elbows come towards your waist, let your shoulder blades move towards each other and down towards the top edge of your pelvis. Try to feel those muscles in the back of the body activating to bring your arms down to this position. Slower is harder. Inhale, exhale, elbows to waist. Stay here. Inhale, exhale. Let one arm go on top. Inhale, as wide as you can. Feel that stretching your shoulders, getting some of the rotator cuff tendons. So pay attention, those with shoulder issues. Tendons are the ends of the muscles. So the muscles that help this action happen, the tendons are what attach onto the bones. The rotator cuff is 4 tendons that hold the upper arm bone in the shoulder joint. And then bring yourself here. Let's come all the way up again, as high as your body will let you. Inhale, and then exhale. Let your hands come down. Inhale up, exhale. Try to go through the range of motion that you have in your body. Feel the stretch at the end of that range of motion. One more. And then go ahead and come down. Exhale out that tension. The shoulders up, back, and down. So let's do a camel posture, which is a back bend. This is one of the postures in Dr. Fishman's second series. We're going to do it in the chair. So you can make this a pretty extreme posture in the chair. The goal is to get a back bend, to get the shoulder blades to support and lift the heart up. So if you take your hands behind you, the fingers, wherever you need them to be, I happen to have a back edge of a chair, it makes it a little easier here. You could also have your arms on the side of the chair. Whatever you need, you're going to press your heel of your hand into the chair, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, feel that stretch near the shoulders, and then push hard. So come into the pose, lift your chest, real strong back bend. So you feel a lot of muscular action here. You're not just hanging out. You're not just creating a back bend. I want you to go deeper into it. And then if you want a little bit more intensity, you could actually lift your pelvis off the chair. Really push your shoulders up. Keep this in the upper body, the upper back, strong back bend. You could sit down if you want to, or you could keep your tushy up, whatever. Make sure your head doesn't flop back.
Push your heart up, take one more breath. And then bring yourself down.
Take your arms, shake your arms. So part of balance is to have a strong lower body, and the legs, the glutes, lots of big muscles here for power. So we're gonna come off the chair in a chair posture. And for this, we're gonna use a block. So reach down and go ahead and get your block and get your strap as well. Get your block and your strap. Your block will go between your legs and then your strap. Let's take the strap. Let's do a little more to stretch the chest. We've done a lot of stretching of the shoulders today and of the chest. This is okay for those of us that have no shoulder issues, but I would say for people with shoulder issues, this might be, you want to make sure you don't do too much stretching and try to listen to what your body says. Let's come up here. We're going to do lateral bending. So with the strap, if that's okay for you, or you may need to not use a strap and instead use your arms like this. So choose whatever is appropriate for you to bend your body. Keep the strap alongside your body. Don't let it be forward, and feel the stretch from the low ribs to the pelvis. Squeeze the block to really help to support that lower part of you. And then bring yourself back to center. So you're going to keep the block, keep the strap. We're going to do our chair posture with the block and the strap. So come to the front edge of the chair. And remember, if you are 5'7" or 8" or taller, having an elevated pelvis, sitting on a blanket may help. And if your legs are not quite really strong, say you're newer to the practice, or you have something going on that you don't want to be so intense today, having an elevation to rise up from is a little bit more forgiving. So do what's appropriate for you. I have the strap that has some loops in it, so I'm going to actually use my loops here to help. You could actually create a circle with your strap and put your hands on the inside to push out to really activate the shoulder girdle, or you could hold your strap and be pulling out to the sides, which will also help to activate the shoulder girdle, which is part of posture and balance. Walk your feet closer to the chair. Come to the very edge of the chair. Walk the feet closer. Squeeze the block. Inhale, and as you exhale, bring your body forward. Push your feet into the floor. Lift your tushy away from the floor barely. Lift your tushy away from the chair barely. Lift your arms up and push out or pull out to the side with your hands. Reach your hands pretty high. Push your knees back. Activate your core. Point your tailbone down towards the ground. Push your feet into the ground. You can lift your toes off if you'd like. This is in the back of the body. You want the pressure to be in the heels. You want the posterior chain of the back body to be firing up here. Lift your arms up if you can. Sink a little deeper in your hip joint if you can. Push your belly button to your spine if you can. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself all the way up. Keep your block handy in case you need it. Take your legs, let's shake the legs. Let's get the feet ready for balance. So do a little more of a stomp so that you actually activate the feet, and then like high heels. So on the top part of your foot, and then heels. Can you do just heels? The heels go into the bones. The top of the feet go into the fascia and the muscles. Feel that. More bones, fascia. And then stop. I think we woke everything up. Let's begin with tree pose. One of the oldest postures in yoga is the tree posture. So I'd like you to choose the side of your body that you know is the weakest, if you have a weaker side. And if you're going to need a chair, have it near the side, the leg that you're going to be standing on. And the thing about tree pose is this. You want to make sure you don't dump into that hip joint. You still want to be nice and tall when you do your tree. Let's take your hands on the waist, lift your heart up, and push your body weight to the foot you're going to stand on, and grab the floor with that foot. Be very active. Come onto your tippy toes, knees out to the side, and bring the foot up in between your knee and your ankle. You have the chair there if you need it. You could slide your elbows back, or you could bring your hands up in whatever position is appropriate for you. Look across the room at something that doesn't move. So find a nice focal point. And smile. Take one more breath. And then bring your knee forward. Come out. Let's go to the other side. So move the chair if you need the chair. Push your body weight over to the side you're going to go to. Take your hands on your waist. Come onto your tippy toes. Knee out to the side. Grab the floor with your foot and bring your opposite foot in between the ankle and the knee. Lift your heart. Choose a focal point, and arms could go out to the side if you'd like. Feel the dance in the joints. Feel your body trying to figure out where you are. And take one more breath. Come out gracefully. And then shake your feet. So we're going to go to another single leg balance. We're going to do 2 more of those. The first one we're going to do is called dancer. And this posture, actually, I notice a lot of frustration. Let me show you what dancer is. So dancer is this. This is dancer. And it can be a little bit of a challenge. The thing about dancer is this. You want your hips to be nice and square when you come into this and not opening to the side. So make sure you don't open up when you come into dancer. You want square hips. And we're going to go through stages. So you're going to see what's appropriate. Have a chair here for those of you that need it. Bring a foot forward, whichever one you're going to balance on. Toes are pointing forward. Bring your hand on the chair. And then bend the opposite leg. See if you can reach down and grab it. Or even grab the socks or the pants if you have socks or pants on, or shorts. So either you're grabbing the foot where the ankle and the foot is, and this may be your dancer here. Then when you tip forward, it's in the hip joint. So there's a extension in your spine, a forward movement to hip. You could bring your arm off the chair if that's appropriate for you. It may be and it may not be. See what's appropriate for you. Try to keep your hips closed so both hips are pointing down towards the ground. That might mean that you don't lift your leg as high. That's okay. Take one more breath. And then you're going to come out slowly. Let's go to the other leg. Bring your chair in front of you. Now this is doing a back bend. It's doing a single leg balance. We've got hip flexion and hip loading. And it's nice. It's called dancer. But I do find this to be very, very challenging for a lot of people. So I really don't honestly teach this that often because I think that it can bring on some frustration, which is why I'm giving you the option here with a chair and only a little bend and maybe the handoff or not. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. and getting all the benefits of this posture. Foot is pointing forward. You're going to bend the leg, reach down and grab the front of the foot, the pants or whatever it is. Hand is on the chair. And then you bend forward in that hip joint. So it's not, the spine is not bending. This is going to help with proper forward bending. You come here. And then if you can or would like to take the arm off, take the arm off. Deep breaths here. Really strengthening for that hip that you're standing on and the lateral chain or the side body to hold you in this position. There's extension or a back bend in your back. There's a stretch of the hip flexor muscles and the quads on the leg that you're holding if you're holding your leg. Lots of stuff is happening here in this posture. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself out. Come out all the way. So those were the two single legs. We'll leave the single legs at that. We're going to come into twisted triangle because twisted triangle has a lot of balance aspects to it. So let's take the chair and bring the chair forward. Now I'm going to stay pretty high in my chair in my twisted triangle. If you did have a pretty strong, deep practice and you wanted to come down onto the ground, you may want to get a block. I would say that most of the people that I have worked with over the years don't really have, aren't really usually in that position to do that. I don't always love to do that part unless I'm really near a wall, because I do think that there's a lot of balance here with this posture. So have your toes pointing forward. The front leg is the leg you're going to rotate over, and actually be away from your chair a little bit, because I'd like you to have some length in your spine and not crowd out your spine. So feet are pointing forward. The bend is going to happen here at the hip joint, not at the spine. You're not bending anywhere here. It's right here at the hips. So let's take our hands on our hips, have our chest open, and let's do a little bit at first to come into this so you feel that front leg. You feel the glute area, the muscles that attach to the leg, the glutes and the hamstrings. And then on your next one, I'd like you to come forward. Bring the opposite arm of the leg that's forward. So the opposite hand comes forward right in front of that front foot. And then let's take your hand on your waist. Push your feet into the floor and then lengthen your spine and begin to spiral and to rotate open. Take your elbow in the air, lengthen your spine. Make sure your weight is in your feet. So take your hand off the chair for a second to make sure that you're there, or onto your fingertips. Push your feet into the ground and rotate. Feel that balance aspect, how the feet are trying to figure out where are you? You've got your feet in a pretty neutral position, right? But then your torso is rotating over. So that's a lot of work for the brain to figure out where the heck you are. Take one more breath. You're going to take yourself out of the tension right away by bending the front leg. Keep your head up and then allow yourself to unbend at the waist, allow yourself to unbend at the hip, right? See, that bending at the waist seems to be something that that's part of our culture, it seems. Bend at your waist, bend at your waist. For some reason, that's something that stands out for me. Like, that's what I always thought of bending. When in actuality, we're not bending at our waist. We're bending at our hip. Because if we bend at our waist, then we're bending our spine. And if we bend our spine, that's not good for osteoporosis, and it's not good for a lot of things. All right. So you're going to have your chair there. You're going to bring your foot forward. Remember, not too close to the chair unless you find it to be too unstable and you really need that stability. So, of course, modifying according to your needs. Push your feet into the floor. Lengthen your spine. Bring your awareness to that front hip. Let's do a little bit of bending to feel hamstring and glutes wake up as they need to load and manage your body weight. One more. Bring yourself forward. Bring the opposite hand across and forward. Hand on your waist so you could start to rotate, spiral your spine. Push your feet into the floor, rotate. Nice long spine. Make sure you have a lot of weight in your feet. And then if you would like to take your hand off to make sure that you have the weight in your feet and not all in your hands. Feel that stretch on that hip there and in the spine. Take one more breath. You're going to bend your front knee and bring yourself all the way up. So we'll do one more standing posture to stretch the legs, stretch the muscles, which stretches the aspects of balance. We're going to do the triangle posture. So you could do this on the chair, or you could do it with a block or with your hand here. The key is that the spine stays straight and any bending happens here. So it wouldn't be this where you're bending the body to try to get down, where the spine is bending. The bend needs to happen here in the waist. Oh my gosh. It needs to happen here in the hip and not in the waist. All right. So chair if you need it, block if you'd like. Legs are really wide here, as wide as you could get them. Maybe being near a wall might be better for you. Pick your foot up, point it under the chair, pick your heel up, heels away. Grab the floor with your feet, push your feet into the ground, draw that energy up into your pelvis, into your spine. In and go a little lower. Try that. Deep breaths here. Really use your feet to be this stabilizing base for this posture. Take one more breath. And then push your feet into the ground, bring yourself up. Let's go to the other side. Chair if you need it. Sometimes having the chair there, even if you don't need it, kind of gives you this little security. Legs are straight, legs are wide, toe is up under the chair, heel is up and back and away. Grab the floor with the feet. Draw that energy up into your pelvis, into your arms as you lift your arms, and then reach, long spine. Think about a long, long spine bending at the hip until you can't go any farther. And then you bring your hand on the chair, holding on to the ground with the feet and pushing away. So creating opposing forces is partly how we stimulate bone growth. One side of the muscle group is contracting, the other side is lengthening. We're pulling on the bones, pushing on the bones, creating lots of tension in the body. Long spine, rotated spine. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself all the way up. So we'll go back down into the ground. Let's move your chair off to the side. Go ahead and bring your block with you. and your blanket, whatever else you're gonna need for your Shavasana, and bring yourself down nice. And then come all the way down onto the ground. Bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Bend your knees, draw your knees in, and rock side to side. So we did a lot of twisting today, a lot of back work. So I'd like to relax the back, stretch the back. So let's put the feet on the ground. We're going to elevate the pelvis, a supported bridge pose. For those of you that have headaches or glaucoma, that's counterindicated to do an inversion. If not, this is okay to do this. Take your block. You're going to walk your feet closer. You're going to walk your feet closer, push your feet into the floor and lift your pelvis up, and then place the block underneath your pelvis. And if you'd like, you could start with the top edge of your pelvis and then make sure the sacrum has a nice position. You want either zero blanket under your head or very little here. And then slide the shoulder blades towards each other so that you can have the support of the shoulder blades right behind the upper chest. Take your hands on the hip bones and press one at a time towards the block. Go slow here. This is stretching the low back from the pelvis to the low ribs. Push your heart up towards the sky. And then if you'd like, you can bring your arms out to the side, close your eyes, and just relax. Let's let all the integration of all that you did today in the practice to sink into your body, your mind, your soul. If you'd like to bring your legs up to the sky, you could bend your knees. Either let your knees hover above the block or let your feet go all the way in the air, letting everything come back down to your heart, to your head. If your legs are in the air, you could point and flex your feet and then do some circles. In one direction and then in the other. Let's take one more breath here. And go ahead and bend your knees. Put your feet on the ground. If you'd like to come into a full body stretch with the block underneath the pelvis, you could try that if it feels appropriate for you. Take one more breath. And let's bend the knees. Push the feet into the ground slowly to lift the pelvis up. Bring the blanket back behind your head. And then draw your knees into your chest. Rocking side to side. Feel that nice massage. Draw your knees in, spread your legs, hold on to the backs of your legs. That'll press the back into the floor a little bit more. Really rock back and forth. Lengthen the back of your neck, tuck your chin towards your chest.
And then let's prepare for final rest, final posture, Shavasana. So do whatever you'd like to do to come into your final rest, letting go and allowing the integration.
Govinde Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Kariyam Yemame Akame Govinde Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Kariyam Yemame Akame Govinde Mukande Udare Apare Hariyam Kariyam Nilame 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 Akame
Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your toes. Move your feet and bend your knees. Start to wiggle the fingers, the hands, the elbows. And then draw one knee in at a time. Hold on to your knees and rock. Give yourself that last low back massage. Rolling on to your side. And then bringing yourself all the way up. Preparing to close the practice with sound. We'll do the sound Om, blending the Ah, the O, and the which is the mouth going from an open to closed position during the exhalation. Bringing that sound and that energy all the way up from the base of the spine. Hands are together. Chest presses towards thumbs, thumbs towards chest. Take a deep exhale to create space. Deep inhale. Bowing. Namaste. Namaste. Oh, all right. Well, I think that could have been a little challenging. You're probably going to feel your back because there's a lot of back muscles were used today to do the rotation. There's a lot of rotation and a lot of back work. So you may notice your back today, strengthening the back. If your back bothers you or was aggravated at all, you could put your legs on a chair or be up against the wall, and that can really help to settle the low back. You're welcome, Donna. Nice to have you back. And yeah, so I hope you feel good. Hope you feel strong. And that's us. So thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, good. Thank you so much for joining me, getting strong with me. That's great. And I will see you in my next class. Hi, Lynn. You're welcome. All right. Thanks. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And I'll see you later. Bye, Carol. Bye, Stevie. Bye, Sharon. You're welcome.